Welcome to episode 46 of Shane Talks. This is Enhance Your Calm, Stallone. We're going to talk about the film career of Sylvester Stallone because his birthday is coming up here in a couple of days on July 6th. As always, I am joined by Jason L. Mayer. What's up, man? How you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. Shane, you look a little different today.
I am looking a little different today. As you know, because you have seen many texts from me with much worse pictures than what's going on today, I have an allergy problem sometimes. Usually it's when the weather changes or, I'm literally allergic to, both of our dogs that we have. Woke up this morning, swollen eye. Was not able to put my contacts in this morning. So, yeah. Had to rock the glasses all day, and it's honestly kind of a big deal because this is the first public appearance I'm making in glasses in well over 20 years.
Oh, shush. Dude, they look good on you. You picked a good brand and good frame.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I didn't want to cancel since we were scheduled for tonight, so I just figured I'll tough it through. I'll wear the glasses, but yeah, for people that don't know, I didn't even start wearing contacts until I was 20, 21, somewhere in there. So our entire first movie that we filmed together, I took my glasses off when we were actually filming the movie. I was literally blind for every scene that I ever filmed in that entire movie.
Even the fight sequence?
Even everything. Yeah. I was completely blind for everything. So, I had really blurry people in front of me that I interacted with, but I couldn't see anybody. So turned out all right though, but later films and whatnot, I did start wearing contacts. So yeah, today my right eye kind of swollen. I've been nursing it all day, trying to see if I could get my contact back in by tonight, and it's pretty swollen. It's not as swollen as some of the pictures that I've sent you before because you've had to cover me at work in times where I literally had my entire eye swollen shut. But yeah, not that bad today, but still rocking glasses for the first time in a while.
What are we drinking tonight, Shane?
Tonight, we have a mutual friend named John Petty, who we've known, 25-ish years in the film industry and whatnot. He recently took a trip to South Dakota and brought us back Fernson's Curio, which is a sour ale, which I can't get focused on, apparently. Anyway, it's a sour ale from South Dakota. I literally don't think I've ever drank anything. What's that?
The Black Hills?
Nice. Which isn't Black Hills where our friend Lee went to college at for a year?
Black Hills State. Yep.
Nice. So tonight we're drinking a sour ale he brought back for us. He knows we both like sours, so cheers to John Petty and his beer contribution tonight. It's really tasty. This is a really good summer beer. It's not sour, but there's enough sour there to leave it. Goes down really smooth and easy. I think
doesn't have much of a bite to it at all.
What flavor? I looked at what flavor it was supposed to have. Grapefruit, which I wouldn't have been able to pick out grapefruit from it. It's just tart and fruity and refreshing. So that's good. And right now on John Petty's blog, this is his most recent entry. The most recent beer he drank. He drank it today, actually Monday the 28th. It is beer number 396 on his beer blog. So he is kicking through them, seeing how he only started doing his beer blog a year or two ago. I've been doing mine since 2012, so I've been doing mine for 9 years, and I'm only at 1,650-ish beers.
Only, and that's that. You don't have repeats on there, Shane.
No, yeah,
only,
yeah. Well, a lot of people give me flack about it because, in 2012, when I started the website, I said I was going to stop after I hit 1,000. And then I hit 1,000, and I was just I'm going to keep drinking stuff. I might as well keep putting it on here. So it's kept going. I can't remember, 3 years ago, I think it was, that I hit 1,000. 4 years ago? I don't remember. It doesn't even matter. But yeah, ShaneDrinksBeer.com is my beer drinking website. Where you can see pictures of every single beer that I've ever drank. I decided to do my own website instead of using an app. A lot of people are always I just use, I don't remember what the app is called, beer. I can't remember what the app is called. I see my friends check in on it all the time.
Don't worry about it.
Keep going. So whatever. But I'm Yeah, but checking in and claiming that I drank a beer isn't the same as having my own website where I can actually put up a picture of the beer and, talk about it. And plus, like, I have a lot of really great friends that just pick up stuff for me while they're out. Like, part of whatever this app is like checking in at multiple breweries and stuff like that. And it's like, I have so many friends like John Petty or like you or Jay or my buddy Garrett Miller. Like, they know that I do this, so they pick up stuff for me that they think that I'll like. So, like, I got a really awesome group of friends that's how I have so many beers on my website. Like, I'm just from, friends doing stuff for me. All right, well, we've gotten sidetracked, and we've been told that we need to cut stuff out of the show and make it shorter and whatnot, Jason Richardson. So we're going to kind of draw back on the next area that we do, which is what did you watch this week? We're not completely cutting it out because both of us watched Fast and the Furious 9 or Fast 9 together, or F9 or whatever it's being called. And it's ridiculous. See, now I'm not giving it a thumbs down. It's what I expected. Now, it's ridiculous. It's not good, but it's bad. Exactly what I expected.
It's bad. No, it's getting worse. It's literally getting worse as a series. Like, it is. You're right. It's exactly what I was expecting because it has been going downhill ever since the 5th one for me, and it's only getting worse. So,
yeah, like, I mean, it's like Arrow. It's like the TV show Arrow. Like, I couldn't give up on it. Even though I knew it was bad in those later seasons, like, I still kept watching it. The Flash is the same way now. Like, I don't enjoy The Flash.
I gave up a couple years ago.
I enjoy the people on the show. I enjoy the characters on the show. So, like, I have to know what happens.
No.
But so you're telling me you're not gonna watch Fast 10? You're not gonna watch Fast 11? You will.
I'll watch 10 and 11 because that only takes 2.5 hours of my time. I'm not going to catch up on 3 seasons of Flash.
No. I mean, I understand that. Yeah. And trust me, there's no reason to. Like, there hasn't been anything good. But so you really hated Fast 9?
I didn't. Like I said, I didn't hate it. It's just it's the quality of the writing, especially, is just getting worse and worse.
For sure.
And I don't know how they break the laws of physics constantly in this movie and then talk about you shouldn't break the laws of physics in the movie. I don't know if it's a nod to themselves or if they're just being silly and ridiculous, but
we can hope.
I don't know. Horrible. Like, I did not have nearly the amount of fun that I wanted to have. This isn't about street racing anymore. It's literally Fast Cars meets Mission Impossible, and
100%.
It's getting really stupid. So, and there was no surprise in the entire film. Like, you're literally watching it going, oh yeah, like, you could probably go with, oh yeah, look, that's gonna happen. You just know, like, there's nothing where you're like, oh damn, I didn't see that coming at all. Like,
sure. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the big wannabe twist at the end of the movie, you and I and 3 other people in the auditorium called it before the movie even started.
Yeah.
Like, it did not come as a surprise at all. So, very disappointing. All right, so hopefully that was quick enough for you, Mr. Richardson. We're going to move on to talking about Sylvester Stallone's career. And here's the big honest truth that I'm going to throw down right here, right now. The beginning of his career, I don't know very much about it. I literally did not get into Stallone until the 90s. There's some of his older movies that I've seen because they're, big movies, but a lot of these I'm going to be breezing through unless you've got stuff to say because I haven't seen very many of them. So
I got into him in the 80s, so like mid 80s at least. I can remember watching him a lot when I was younger. So, and while we were in Germany, so. But go ahead.
We got a little bit of Stallone trivia that I want to start with on here. The first thing is because of birth complications with forceps, when he was being pulled out with forceps, that is what has resulted in the paralysis of his lower lip, causing that like drooping thing on the side of his face, and like it's caused his speech to be slurred. So that was a birthing defect that happened with him.
Did you know that when he was 23 years old, he got his first starring role in a softcore porn?
I had heard
Party at Kitty and Studs.
I didn't know that's the name.
Which was re-released and renamed The Italian Stallion after his success with Rocky, in which he played the stud, the Italian Stallion. He was paid $200 to This is ridiculous. $200 to play the sex-craved gigolo and appear nude.
$200. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a famous line from that movie.
Which is?
Cradle him.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
He's talking to the woman, and there's a point in time where she grabs him, and he says, "Cradle him."
Interesting.
Yep.
So the next trivia that I've got is he holds the record for the longest unbeaten streak of nominations for Razzie Awards. That's 13 years in a row. He was nominated every year from 1985 to 1997 for a Razzie Award. Like,
so that you were just doing it after a while to just do it. Like,
sure.
So he was a part owner of the Planet Hollywood franchise restaurant.
We had one of those here in Indianapolis for a while.
We did. Bruce Willis was here for the opening. Arnold and Sylvester Stallone were not, but you remember who else was there? It was Chris Farley.
Oh.
Tom Arnold. A bunch of Pacer players at the point in time. There was some figure skater that Joe Langlis had the hots for. I can't remember her name. Lynn St. James drove a little mini version of like a Indy 500 car down the carpet. Yeah, I was like right on the cage because when I worked for General Cinema at the time, and everybody who was at the theater that I worked at got to submit an essay. And if you submitted an essay, you could apply to, that was your application to wear the Popcorn Bob costume to the Planet Hollywood premiere.
Nice.
And so like, I was like, screw this. I want to be Planet Hollywood's Popcorn Bob. Let's do this. And then they actually decided, and I don't know if they didn't get permission or whatever the case, but nobody wore Popcorn Bob. But
that's a bummer.
But anybody who submitted an essay got a ticket to go to this.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
who'd you go with?
Lee, Joe, me. I think my brother Mike was there.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was just a bunch. Maybe Joe's sister. I can't remember, but yeah, a bunch of us got to line up and watch the people walk the red carpet, or not red carpet. It was a checkered flag carpet.
That's awesome. So I have another Razzie related trivia for Sylvester Stallone. He holds the record for most nominations with 37 nominations over the course of his career. He also holds the record for the most wins. He has won 10 Razzie Awards throughout his career. So a lot of his movies people think are bad, and some of them pretty much are.
Yeah. I also see that you had, during your research on tonight's episode, you noticed that he played the same character of Rocky Balboa in 5 different decades.
5 different decades, man. I thought that was crazy.
76, he played Rocky 1, the first Rocky, and then in 82, he did Rocky 3, then Rocky 5, he did 90, and then he followed that up with Rocky Balboa in 06, and then he did him in the Creed movies, and the first one was in 15. So, yeah, you have 5 decades of him playing Rocky Balboa, which I have to say, like, as far as a character goes, I really liked what they did with the with Creed to tie it all together and not like just distance itself from the original stuff. So
cool. And we'll definitely get into that in a little while. I'm gonna run down a bunch of these movies at the start of his career. Square Root, never heard of it. Downhill Racer, never heard of it. I've heard of MASH. I've seen MASH. Never knew that he was in MASH until I did my research this week. So no clue that he was an extra in MASH. Lovers and Other Strangers, never heard of it. The Sidelong Glances of a Pigeon Kicker, never heard of it. What's up?
I just love that title.
Oh, sure.
Like, why is that a title to a movie?
Yeah. Bananas, never heard of it. Clute. I've heard of Clute, but I don't know why. I don't know anything about it. What's Up, Doc? Never heard of that movie. Prisoner of Second Avenue, he had a small part in, and then a movie called Mandingo he had a small part in. Like literally all movies at the beginning of his career where he was an extra or a small part, never heard of any of them. Then jumping back to 1970 was the Party at Kitty and the Studs, which is his porno film, which it sounds like you may have seen.
I have not. I just
okay.
remember
You just know that part. Okay.
That information came out on like Bob and Tom, I think, in like the late 90s. So yeah, Bob and Tom had a bit about it and played that, like the audio clip of him saying "Cradle, cradle." Like
nice.
they kept playing it over and over again, so that's why it's stuck in my brain. So
some movies where he had some smaller, big parts in them. A movie called No Place to Hide. Never heard of it or seen it. A movie called The Lords of Flatbush, which sounds like it could be a porn to me, but I've never heard of it. A movie called Capone, where he was apparently one of the main sidekicks for somebody big played Capone. When I looked it up, and now I can't remember. And then I remember him in Death Race 2000. I've seen the original Death Race 2000. I remember his character in it. I remember being surprised because, again, I watched it much later after I'd lived through his 90s movies. I watched it going back to, like, cinema appreciation, looking back at some old stuff. I think maybe it was close to the time when didn't Jason Statham do a remake of Death Race or something? I think around the time that came out.
That one.
What's that?
I actually enjoy that one. Like I
remember being okay.
It's very silly, and Tyrese is in it, and my wife has a huge crush on Jason Statham. So like when that happened, she was like, I knew I could get her to go see that one because
nice.
Ben Kazera.
Well, I was just gonna say a lot of movies like that when like a remake is coming out, that's around the time I try to go back and watch the original if I haven't seen it. Like in 2002 when the shitty ass Rollerball movie came out, like that's when I went back and watched the James Caan Rollerball. So it was probably around the time that the Statham one came out that I watched this.
Ben Kazera is the guy who played Capone.
Okay.
The bad guy from Roadhouse.
Yep. Here on the moving down, Farewell My Lovely, which some people in the Facebook post were actually talking about liking this movie, but I have not seen it. Cannonball I have not seen, and then we hit 1976 with Rocky, and of course I've seen Rocky. So this is the kicking off of his career. He wrote it. Somebody famous directed it, and I'm drawing a fucking blank.
Are you sure it wasn't him? He might not have directed it.
I don't think he directed it. I know he wrote it.
Pulling it up right now.
But somebody...
John Avildsen.
Click on him and see what else he's done. I feel like it's somebody that's done something else.
Karate Kid.
There we go. That's what it was.
That's the famous guy. He did the Karate Kid, so he had to be famous.
I mean, he did
famous.
Liked.
So yeah, it was written by him. I think it was produced by him too. Like,
wouldn't surprise me. I know
Irwin Winkler was the producer on it.
I know he had the chance to sell the script at one time. Like somebody was willing to just flat out buy the script from him.
But he wanted to play the character that bad.
Exactly. So they weren't going to let him do that. They were literally like, here's $300,000, go the fuck away. And he was like, no, until I get somebody to agree to let me, keep my writing credit and star in the movie. Like, I'm not selling the thing. Because I think he sold it for a lot less than he had been offered so that he could star in the movie, which was genius for him.
Yeah. I mean, and he's written a whole lot of stuff, man. Like, which is weird because, like, the Lords of Flatbush that you were talking about, yeah. he wrote some of that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, looking and like.
Well, and it didn't make our list over here because we're talking about his acting career. But was it Flashdance or not Flashdance?
Staying Alive.
Staying Alive and Saturday Night Fever. Didn't he
wrote? He wrote both of those, I think.
Yeah.
And he directed Staying Alive.
So yeah, he definitely has some okay writing chops, or at least had people around him that helped him write stuff that was, decent. His next two movies I haven't seen, Fist and Paradise Alley. Have you seen either of those?
I have not.
Cool. Rocky 2. It's in the Rocky franchise. Really, truth be told, because I didn't get into Stallone movies until the 90s, like a lot of these, I've only ever gone back and watched once. Like I don't have the Rocky franchise memorized. I don't know exactly who he fought in every one of them. I remember a lot of the fights and stuff like that, but I know the fourth one is the one that I am looking forward to watching the director's cut because I remember it being very, goofy, and like it had the robot in it and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's funny. I mean, the robot definitely adds a little bit of comedy, but for the most part, 4 is like probably the Stallone movie I watched the most in my life.
Okay.
Rocky 5. I liked it when it came out. It's not that good of a movie if you watch it now.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like
Isn't the cover of 5 him doing like the V with his arms up to make the Roman?
No. That's Rocky Balboa, I thought.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because 5, he's got his hand up like this. He's punching up into the sky like he's like celebrating almost.
Well, who's the idiot that didn't have him make the V for Rocky 5? Like making a V. Like I would have done that if I was in charge of marketing.
For Life, the 3rd movie.
Right. Yeah. In 1981, he did a movie that I know because of Billy D. Williams, and that's Nighthawks.
Dude, that movie is. I don't know how good it is now.
Sure.
But dude, he's got that massive beard and mustache, and he's like an undercover narc or something like that.
I think they're narcotics officers.
Dude, yeah, they my brother Michael was really into this movie, and I remember seeing it a couple of times and thinking it was pretty.
I remember there being like a really good train station chase scene, or like through a. I don't know if it's a train station or like an L station or something, but like I remember like them being on train tracks chasing somebody.
Yeah. I really dug that.
Movie was a lot of fun. Escape to Victory, if I remember right from my looking stuff up, this is a hockey movie, so I can't believe I've never soccer. Sorry, soccer movie. And so like, I really wish I had had time to watch it before today. I had no idea that Stallone had ever done a soccer movie.
So it's actually not called Escape to Victory; it's just called Victory.
Okay.
They might let me rephrase that. When it was released, it was called Victory. I don't know if they've changed it and they've renamed it at any point.
I will look that up for a second. Have you seen it?
I have. This is a story about. I'll give you the Allied POWs prepare for a soccer game against German national team to be played in Nazi-occupied Paris. The French resistance and British officers are making plans for the team's escape. So Pele's in this because at this point in time, like this is what 70 or 81. Soccer was kind of big in New York, especially at this point in time. And apparently this was based on a true story is what I want to say. I might be wrong. And if I am, I'm sorry to whoever.
No, the film was inspired by the film was inspired by the now discredited story of the so-called death match between Dynamo Kiev and German soldiers in the Ukraine. Okay. So the true story is considerably more complex as the team played a series of matches against German teams, emerging victorious in all of them before any of them were sent to prison. Apparently the story that they used to make the movie has since been proven to be not entirely true, but it was partially true, like most biopics anyway. According to Wikipedia, the title of the film actually is Escape to Victory, but it is commonly stylized as just Victory.
Like the IMDb has it listed as Victory.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and when I was watching it growing up, it was just like I remember it being called Victory. So I might be wrong.
Well, a lot of people say that you can't trust Wikipedia, so possibly the fact that it's a soccer movie, I'm definitely going to put that like on my list to watch as soon as I can. We got Rocky 3. As we said, the Rocky franchise is the Rocky franchise. Good for him that he kept it going for a third movie in 1982. But 1982 also introduced us to John Rambo in the first film called First Blood.
You are obviously going a little bit too fast because Rocky 3, while I don't love that movie and I've only seen it maybe once in my life, you got to talk about, man, that had Mr. T in it. It had Hulk Hogan in it.
It had Hulk Hogan in it.
Like, it's just, I mean, that movie had everybody. I don't know what it was with like the third movies in that 1980s like time frame. It's like Jaws 3D sucked. Like I mean, like Rocky 3, a lot of people are like, man, it's so good. And it's like, the fight with Mr. T, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, yes, it had Mr. T and it had Hulk Hogan. So, like, if you want a time capsule for the 1980s, go watch Rocky 3, man. But yeah, so sorry to breeze backwards.
Oh, dude, you're good.
We can move on to John Rambo.
No, totally fine to go back if you had something to say about it. Like I said, I pretty much said my piece about the Rocky movies. I've seen them all once. I remember them being okay. But yeah, because I didn't grow up watching them like a lot of people, I watched them like much later in life and whatnot. They're just, I have nothing against them. What's that?
Yeah, they don't hold the same place.
Yeah.
For you.
And again, it's not that I have anything against them. It's not that I disliked them. Like I enjoyed them when I watched them, but they're not something I go back and watch over and over and over again. So First Blood, man, you want to talk about that? And it sucks because First Blood is so dated now. Like it's been almost 50 years, like 45 years now for it. Yeah, like it's kind of a dated movie dealing with like the Vietnam War and stuff like that.
I mean, it's 40 years old. You don't make 40. Us older than we are. It's like 37 years old.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so First Blood, that movie is, it's kind of weird because I watched it again more recently. I want to say in like the last 10 years, and I say recently in the last 10 years, with the way that I think of our government and the way they treat people, and especially our people who come back from war and stuff, and how they mismanage all of that kind of stuff. Watching First Blood, you totally see how like John Rambo just kind of wants to be left alone and not be with, and he just wants to be who he is and move about his way. And you have Brian Dennehy being this asshole cop who decides to stick his nose in and be a jerk just because he can. And it's like, I don't know if this is a peaceful movie or if this is an anti-asshole cop movie, or if all of them rolled together. Like it's a lot to take in. He goes like, there's some brutal stuff. There's like if they decided to remake that movie nowadays, because what he did in that movie in the 82 is like brutal for that age. So considering what we get with Saw and all those movies, I'm sure they could. I mean, well, heck, even like the latest Rambo movies, it's got some really good mess ups in them. So I don't know. Like it's a sad story and a sad depiction of what probably was a little bit too common for Vietnam vets, in my opinion. But you know, then again, you hear about the bad more than you hear about the good. So hopefully not everybody's experience coming back from war in Vietnam was that bad, but who knows?
I left on the list Staying Alive and the fact that he directed it. He had a very tiny fucking role in the movie, a dude on the street. You never saw it? Yeah, neither did I. So we can move on. His next credited film is Rhinestone, movie I've never even heard of. So I like how with the sequel they ended up going with the title Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
I don't understand the logic behind the titling on that movie. Like, call it Second Blood. First Blood Part 2 is just a very bizarre title for me. This one I don't remember as well. I know I have seen it, but I really don't remember. Do you remember the plot of the second one to refresh my memory?
Like, if I'm remembering correctly, this is all the stuff that he dealt with as a POW in Vietnam.
Oh, so it's a prequel.
Yeah, it's essentially a prequel, if I'm remembering correctly.
Interesting. I didn't remember that.
There's a brutal sequence where they show you that he was what's the word I'm looking for here? That because like while he's captured, they put a rat in a bag to torture him. And while he's hung upside down, they tie the bag to his head, and then like he's like flailing about and stuff, and then he ends up stopping, and they think, oh, the rat got him or whatever, and then they open it up and he spits the rat out.
Yep.
Yeah. So Rambo returns to the jungles of Vietnam on a mission to infiltrate an enemy base camp and rescue the American POW still held captive there. So I apologize.
Okay, so it wasn't a prequel. Okay.
So,
yeah, like I said, I've only ever seen it once. It's blurry to me.
So, but yeah, like, I can't believe I forgot that he went actually back for that one. So, all right.
And in 82, in '82 he did a Rocky and a Rambo movie, and so in '85 he also did a Rocky and a Rambo movie, and we got Rocky 4, which we just talked about a minute ago.
You know, being a child of the Cold War and being in Germany while this movie came out, and this definitely easily was the one that I watched the most when I was growing up of any Sylvester Stallone movie. I think it still holds up today. It's a little on the cheesy side for the most part, but I really think it holds up still well for me personally. So
yeah, my memory of it was not liking it so much, and I just felt that it was too wacky. And I know I fixate on it, but the robot just really bothered me a lot in that movie. Like, it just seems so like wannabe sci-fi put into this movie that's otherwise really realistic.
it was like a robot butler, dude. It's not like
but it's still a robot.
It didn't like follow him around. Well, he was filthy rich, and it was like showing how ridiculously rich he was and how stupid he was with his money, in my opinion. Which plays into Rocky 5 and Rocky 6. So
okay, if you say so. 86, we got Cobra, which was an awesome film.
Badass.
Yeah, lots of fun.
This is John. This is what's his name in this one? I can't remember.
Cobaretti.
Yeah, Cobaretti. Marion Cobaretti. So he's a cop, and he's like he just does not care, and he does whatever he wants to get what he needs to fix. And who's the girl in this? Isn't it his wife? Bridget Nielsen.
Yes.
Who is in this movie?
I believe
that ended up being his wife around this time because of Rocky 4 in this movie.
Yep.
And the guy who plays the bad guy in this movie is shown up in so many films as the like regular bad guy. Yeah. He was on 2 different episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's in the very first episode, or double episode, Welcome to the Hellmouth, and he also ends up showing up later as the judge. Yeah, I mean, like the moment you see him, you know who he is. Like, but yeah, like it's a creepy movie, man. Like, because that killer has like a special, like weird serrated knife thing. And yeah, it was just and he's got this badass car. This like fixed up old time car. It was pretty badass. I like this movie a lot. So,
Andrew Robinson, I believe is his name.
Sure.
I'm not fighting Buffy yet.
No. Brian Thompson. He's the Night Slasher.
Oh, Brian Thompson. Oh, yeah. One more. Yeah, I got you. Oh, that guy. Got you.
You see that guy in everything, man.
Yeah.
Especially in the 80s. He's kind of like, he was like the meathead guy that you hire for the same exact thing over and over again. Kind of like the Asian guy with like the Fu Manchu.
Oh, yeah.
From Die Hard.
Yep.
Like, in like every movie that ever needed an Asian like karate expert.
I always just saw Genghis Khan when I saw his face. Like that's what I instantly thought of.
Yes.
I did not see the movie Over the Top. I don't know if you have.
I have not. And you know, a lot of people rant and rave about this movie being good, and
really
it probably should be like, and who knows, it might be just like the nostalgia factor, but sure. I've never watched, I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never seen the whole thing through it.
Then we got Rambo 3, which I don't remember.
This is the one where he goes to the Soviet Union.
Oh yeah, okay.
And he's like fighting one of those major helicopters, and yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah, that's
Fast and the Furious before Fast and the Furious. So
there was some ridiculous shit in that movie. Yeah.
Yep.
Lockup, a 1989 movie. Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
I know I've heard of it, and I remember like the VHS cover for it, but I've never seen it.
Oh, if we want to bring up VHS covers real quick, let's jump back a couple of movies. The box art for Cobra was badass. Him with the gun and those aviator glasses standing next to the car, like, yeah, I always remembered that box art. Like, that was
kind of funny though, because since you went back for that, I'm going to go back. While I'm looking at the IMDb, and I see Rhinestone.
Okay.
It stars him and Dolly Parton.
What?
and he's a taxi cab driver, and she makes a bet that she can turn him into a superstar singer, and that's apparently the whole premise of the movie. Yeah,
So
I
that
kind
has
of
to
want to
say
see this now.
it's a comedy, right?
Well, I didn't look, but I would imagine so.
I mean,
Yeah.
it has to be. Don't tell
Yeah.
me it's a drama.
Music comedy.
Music comedy. Well, that sucks. I thought we were about to hit his comedy streak when we start with Tango and Cash.
He got a 3.9 for Rhinestone on IMDb. So Tango
Sadly,
and
that
Cash.
makes me want to watch it more.
Tango and Cash. Cash and Tango. Like, oh man, this movie is so ridiculous and fun.
It is.
The other day I was at work and I'm cleaning theaters, and I was bumping into the seats while I was trying to get through the floor seating, because our floor seats are just really, really narrow, and
Yep.
especially for somebody as big as myself, it's not always easy. So I kind of like do this like weird shimmy, like sideways kind of thing, and and I bumped into something, and all that popped into my head was Kurt Russell going, "Nag, nag, nag," and it's when they're like they're trying to get through the electricity part, and they're kind of
Okay.
turning sideways to get through it, and while it's raining, so they don't get electrocuted. And it just cracked me up because I was sitting there going, "Nag, nag, nag," and I couldn't place it right away, so I just kept repeating the phrase to myself over and over again. And I was like,
That's awesome.
"Oh, I know it's Kurt Russell," and then I finally put it together as Tango and Cash. Dude, that movie, especially the RV from hell near the end.
Yep.
Terry Hatcher in the movie looks
Mhm.
absolutely stunning. She always does, though.
And let's see what would this was pre no, it was after Lethal Weapon. Never mind. It was another attempt to be a Lethal Weapon.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like the buddy cop movie where they don't
Yep.
get together, aren't good friends, and then they become good friends.
Yep.
I have a lot of fun with this movie, though, and hell, even Kurt Russell looks just like Martin Riggs, pretty much.
Oh
like,
yeah, with the hair.
The hair, the mullet thing going
Yep.
on, and the way he dresses and everything, and he's wearing cowboy boots just like he does. Like it's a total ripoff, but
total ripoff. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the movie. It has
I own it
great
digitally
comedy.
because I love it
Nice.
so much. So
Rocky V. Remind me who he fights in Rocky V.
no. This is when he's tutoring Tommy Gunn, and it's
Yep.
there was
Maybe
a
I
real
haven't
life
seen this one.
boxer. It was a real life boxer, and I can't remember his name right now. But so in this movie, he ends up being like he doesn't want to fight anymore because of the brain damage he got from the Russian, Dolph Lundgren's character in 4, and so he becomes the coach kind of for this new fighter, and he looks basically like the white Mike Tyson because he's all muscle up top, and like so he so you have this whole story of him trying to be the tutor for this Tommy Gunn character, and then Tommy decides to go somewhere else instead of using Rocky, and Rocky's kind of like, all right, fine, whatever, go chase your money.
Then doesn't the kid get killed or something?
Well, no, like the kid, then like what ends up happening is they convince him that Tommy Gunn needs to fight Rocky because of the fact that he'll never get out from underneath Rocky's shadow unless he fights him and beats him. So then the promoter in the movie is basically a Don King ripoff.
Okay.
And he like convinces Tommy to go like that he should fight Rocky, but then Tommy wants to fight him so much that he ends up like fighting him in the street instead of fighting him in the ring. So like the promoter's pissed because he can't make any money off of it. And so they end up having this massive fight in the middle of the Philadelphia streets. And this is after Rocky has gone bankrupt and lost all of his money and stuff. And
I wrote down that I saw it. I don't think I ever did. I think I may have lied about seeing it because none of this is ringing a bell to me. I thought I'd watched the first 5. I know I haven't seen anything after that, but I thought I'd seen the first 5. But now I'm going to say I only saw the first 4. All right, we got a movie to talk about. I watched this today. I watched it today because when I put the poll up, a lot of people were commenting both good and bad about this movie. So the movie we are talking about is Sylvester Stallone's attempt at a comedy called Oscar.
Comes
now,
out
here's what I'm going to say.
91. Did you look up who directed this movie?
I did. John Landis directed it.
Yeah.
A genius in the beginning of his career, but I will say this is probably his last film that I liked. A lot, like he directed The Blues Brothers and Animal House and Stopper My, no, not Stopper My Mumble. What's the other one that he did? He did another.
He did Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah, there was something else like really big that I was like, yeah, that's something that I'd love that he directed. I can't remember what it is now, but so yeah, Jonathan Landis directed this, and here's what I'm going to say. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I don't love it. I don't think it's great, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I think I know why you and I probably like it more than a lot of people. It's based on a play, and us both having theater backgrounds. Go ahead.
Coming to America.
That's what it was.
Three Amigos. Spies Like Us.
Oh, yes. Spy was Chevy Chase. Yes.
He did Michael Jackson's Thriller music video. An American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. See, like he has an amazing career at the beginning, but like I don't think anything he directed after this is any good.
Yeah. I never. Beverly Hills Cop 3 is really bad.
Yeah. So like.
The Stupids, Blue Brothers 2000.
Yep.
And then he just does a bunch of television shows for the most part. Very strange.
Very
anyway,
like
keep going with your discussion.
So what I was gonna say is the entire movie takes place in one place. There's one setting, one location. It all takes place in his mansion. And as I'm watching it, I'm watching it play out like a play. There's a lot of miscommunication. There's a lot of setting aside characters in one room so that you can move the action to another room, but so that you can come back to the characters in the other room. You have characters that leave the house for a certain amount of time so that they can come back for the next scene that they're in. It plays out like a play. And I think that's what I really enjoyed about it, knowing how, playwrights write, scenes that set up things for later. Like it all, gets set up for the end. And you as the audience have the dramatic irony of knowing things that the characters don't know. So you're learning things that then Sylvester Stallone doesn't know it until the next scene. So, you've got a little bit of a head start on his character. And then once he finds that out, he figures out how he can twist that to be used in the next scene to manipulate somebody else. Very, very good story, in my opinion. Again, the movie's not perfect. The movie's not great, but it was okay. Like Tim Curry shows up 2/3 of the way through the movie out of nowhere and then creepily makes out with Marissa Tomei. Like
we have a dangling participle.
I'm going to say it's almost blasphemy what I'm about to say. Marissa Tomei for the first half of that movie when she's in her like nightgown is not attractive to me. I couldn't believe it or understand it. Once she changes into like her like white dress that she wears for the second half, I mean, again, she's very beautiful to me at that point. But I should have found her more attractive than I don't know if it was what they did with her hair or I don't understand it. But second half of the movie, Marissa Tomei, absolutely gorgeous. The woman who plays his wife, I looked up while I was watching the movie. And like hasn't really done a whole lot of stuff, but she is drop dead gorgeous in this movie. She reminds me a lot of Jennifer Morrison. No, not Jennifer Morrison. The other chick from Once Upon a Time, Jennifer Goodwin. She just reminds me a lot of Jennifer Goodwin when I was watching the movie today. But yeah, I liked a lot of the miscommunications, the misunderstandings, how they played out, and like a typical play, everything gets wrapped up at the end that like things that never would really happen in real life tie themselves together. But I don't know if I ever want to watch the movie again, but I would really enjoy trying to see this as a stage play. I would really like to see how the set looks. Like, is it a giant staircase with like, 2 rooms up at the top of the stairs and then the 2 rooms at the bottom of the stairs to use for the set? I'd really be interested to see the play once to see how the set looks. But I'm not upset that I watched the movie. I had a really good time during it. I'm on your side and agree with you and the other people who said they enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Chaz Palminteri, I think this was the first movie I ever saw him in, and I
loved the scene where Stallone keeps yelling at him for pulling out a gun, and then he's like, "Just give me everything." And then it's like, it's a 2 to 3 minute, standard scene, but it's him pulling out 20 different weapons from every pocket and his jacket and his pants and his socks, and it's cheesy, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny. Like, he pulls a mace out from under his arm, like.
Well, and again, the reason I told you I like this so much is because this is a total different thing for Stallone to do.
Well, and when I read
at this point in time,
when I read the description of it, of like and I will say this, I don't really care for the opening scene with Kirk Douglas. I thought that was a little blah. I'm pretty sure I texted you while I was I texted you because I really enjoyed the scene with the accountant at the very beginning, like basically the second major scene of the movie. I was like, this scene with the accountant is playing out really well. Like, the dialogue was fun and all that kind of stuff. But that first scene with Kirk Douglas, I was like, ooh, this might be as bad as everybody told me it was going to be. But I'm glad it got a lot better. But when I read the description yesterday, when I said that I hadn't seen it, and everybody was like, oh, it's so good, or oh, it's so bad, don't waste your time. Reading the description of it, like being a gangster that was trying to go straight or whatever, that's not what I felt like I got in the movie. So, very enjoyable. I had a lot of fun with it. A lot of people shit on this movie, and I'm sure that he got a Razzie for it, but I grew up watching the Golden Girls, so seeing Stallone with Estelle Getty, I really liked Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Never seen it.
Really? It's dumb. I don't know if it would hold up now. I probably haven't watched it since I was 15 or 16. But I did watch it multiple times as a kid because I liked Estelle Getty from Golden Girls, and I thought that him and her had a really ridiculous dynamic that was just kind of fun and goofy at that time. I'm not sitting here telling you it's an amazing movie that you should go out and watch, but as action comedies go that I watched in my early teens, I remember enjoying the movie. I have no idea if it would hold up now.
Now, you can't just leave it like that. We have to also tell the story that his longtime rival, Arnold Schwarzenegger, back from their Mr. Universe days, decided that he wanted to mess with Stallone. And so he leaked information to certain people that he was super excited about writing or being in this comedy, and that he was going to get this starring role for this great comedy called Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yep.
And Stallone swooped in and ended up doing something to end up winning the contract.
Well,
he found out Schwarzenegger actually never signed on and was never interested, and literally did it just so that he would make a horrible, horrible movie.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger told the story on, I think, Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or one of those in the last couple of years, where he literally said that he read the script and he thought it was the biggest piece of shit ever. And so he was like, there's no way I'm going to do this movie. And then he was surprised because he actually got a call from Stallone. And Stallone was like, hey, man, like, have you heard about this movie, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot? And Schwarzenegger goes, I decided I was going to mess with him. And I said, yeah, man, I read it and I really like it. And I think I'm going to try for it. And he goes, I was sure that they were probably going to offer it to Stallone also. Like, they were probably going to offer it, to multiple people before they decided who they wanted. And so he was like, and Stallone decided that he went back and told them, like, I want to be the one that does Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. So they didn't offer it to anybody else because Stallone went and said he wanted it so that Schwarzenegger couldn't do the movie. And then Schwarzenegger just starts laughing and was like, and we saw what kind of dog shit movie that was. And so, yeah, he messed with him. It was absolutely hilarious. Like, it's funny to think about Stallone and Schwarzenegger hating each other that much that they would do things like that to them. But there's lots of rumors that supposedly Stallone turned down a lot of major roles in Hollywood that he could have. He apparently turned down the role in Terminator, and that's why Schwarzenegger got it. What was the other one? There was something else big that I was reading today that he turned down, and I was like, I'm glad he turned that down. I'm drawing a blank on what it was, though. So, yeah, 1993, we get two really good action movies from Sylvester Stallone. And by really good, I mean one really bad and one really good. Do you not like Cliffhanger?
Cliffhanger is so blah. He
It has a
wrote
good cast. It's got a great
that
cast.
movie. He did. They put a good cast together. I will not deny you that.
Is it bad that I laugh at the opening sequence now, though, when I go back and watch it?
Dude, like I remember us watch like at one point in time, our friend Mark was like, dude, you got to watch this with me for a second. And I was like, okay, fine. Like he turns on Cliffhanger. I was like, dude, I've seen this movie. He goes, no, you got to pay attention to this. And I was like, okay, so like, all right, let me see what you're talking about. So it's the opening sequence with Stallone out on the cable, and he's trying to hold on to the wife of his friend, and it's or the girlfriend or whatever she is, and there's a point in time where it looks like everybody's concentrating and like trying to Mickey Rourke and the girl from Northern Exposure or whatever it was. They're all like holding on to the cable while Stallone's out on the cable trying to save this girl's life. And the old man that is that's in this movie, I can't remember, but he's like a part of their family of the rock climbing clan or whatever. Like he's standing behind everybody and he's looking like this, and it looks like he's smiling, and he's got this big smile while she's like he's there like this, and it looks like he's smiling, and he's probably just not emoting correctly. It probably was like him trying to be like
right
in this, but the way that they shot him, it makes it like, so we were dying laughing looking at this video of like him trying to hold on to this cable, and it looks like he's laughing the entire time this girl's dying. So that's always in my head about this movie. The other thing is like when the soccer kicker thing that goes on where like the bad guy's like, striker lines up for the kick. And it's just one of those moments where you're watching this thing and you're it's really sad, and I do not enjoy this movie overall. It's a bad story. It's a B action 80s movie that was made in the 90s. So
for sure. But I mean, I feel like at the same time when you've got movies like Sudden Death coming out, like, I mean, action at that point wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Like, wouldn't Under Siege 2 have been around this time?
The first one was like 91, so yeah, you're probably right.
Probably a year or two later, maybe 94-ish or whatever. But the other movie we got in 1993 is my all-time favorite Sylvester Stallone film. I could literally watch this movie every day and never get tired of it. It is so quotable, so humorous, so much fun. And you don't seem like you love it as much as I do.
What's your boggle? No.
We're police officers. We're not trained to handle this kind of violence.
How every restaurant is. Taco Bell.
How do you use the three seashells? You guys might not know this, but where you're supposed to have toilet paper, you just have this little shelf with 3 seashells on it.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells. Like, no, man, like this whole movie is awesome. First time you really get to know Sandra Bullock as an actress. Yep. But like this the whole movie is a lot of fun for me from beginning to end.
Yep.
Really, really quotable. Wesley Snipes is a complete badass.
Is it cold in here, or is it just me?
So
good memory.
Yeah, good movie, man. Great movie.
Lots of fun. Absolutely. Anybody who hasn't watched Demolition Man, go watch Demolition Man. Absolutely 2 hours of action adventure fun from the 90s. He followed that up with his crossover with Sharon Stone. We got The Specialist.
We're going to get a TMI moment from Jason right now.
All right, let me hear it.
The shower sex scene is one of the hottest sex scenes I've ever seen on film.
Okay. Which is awkward because I remember being disappointed in this movie coming off of Basic Instinct, and then what was her? No, Basic Instinct and then Sliver. Coming off of Basic Instinct and then Sliver, and then going into The Specialist. No.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. You had me questioning for a second if it was Sharon Stone, but
her body in this movie is just perfection, though. Like,
Yeah.
her body is rocking in this movie, and Stallone is probably in his top physical shape at this point. Like, dude, yeah.
But it's
Excuse
not
me.
a very good movie.
I think I have to step out of here.
Are you gonna go be in your
No.
bunk?
Yes. No, it's not a good
It's
movie.
not a good movie.
Not a good movie at all. James Woods is a ridiculous bad guy.
Yeah,
And
very dumb plot.
yeah, the whole thing is just stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's hot, and yeah, that sequence was worth watching it.
I'll give you that. So in 1995, we got him in our first version of Judge Dredd, which the only good thing that ever came from this movie for me is it got me to read the Judge Dredd comic books, which were so far superior to this comedy that they put out. So him and Rob Schneider did Demolition Man together, and it was successful and fun. So they decided they had to put Rob Schneider into Judge Dredd, and a character that in the comic books never removes his helmet. 90% of the movie, he has his helmet off. And it was awkward because I remember at 14, like going and watching the movie and being like, it's okay, it's fine. But then like all of the comic book people like that are in and out of our lives and whatnot were like, no, he takes his helmet off. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to start reading the comic books. And like I said, it got me into reading the Judge Dredd comic books. And now I'm like, yeah, that's never should have happened in that movie. Like Carl Urban's version of this movie is perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the fact that it not stole, but is the same as District B, not District B13.
The Raid.
The Raid, thank you. Other than the fact that it's the same plot as that. But yeah, this movie, and in what world is Sylvester Stallone and Armand Assante supposed to be like twins? Like, that was
Joey and Carl.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Joey and Carl. Yes.
So no,
pizza. Yeah. We like pizza.
Judge Dredd is a horrible movie.
Horrible.
I saw it on opening weekend. I've never watched it since. Yeah, I was pumped to watch it when it was coming out, but it's really putrid.
Yeah,
so.
Not very good. Well, and then it's him and Antonio Banderas in Assassins, right?
They're two different assassins going up against each other, and yes, it's him and Antonio Banderas in one of his very first roles in American cinema for the most part. Julianne Moore is the one that they're both supposed to kill.
Okay, I forgot she was in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good movie either.
No,
really not good. This is a whole bad stretch for Stallone here.
And here's the weirdest part about it. This bad stretch, like the mid to late 90s, is when I was getting really big into movies. So this is when I was watching everything that was coming out. And so that's why I was seeing all of, like, this is when I really got to know Stallone. Like, in the 80s, I didn't watch a lot of movies. A lot of the movies that I love from the 80s are ones that I've gone back and like movies like St. Elmo's Fire, which was released today in 1985. Like, it's a movie that I absolutely love to this. Don't do that. I love to this day, but I didn't watch it until I was in high school. So like most of the stuff from the 80s that I really loved were like kid stuffs, like, you know, The Mighty Ducks and The Wizard and, you know, The Last Starfighter and, you know, a lot of the kids, E.T., I guess. A lot of the kids movies that I watched back then are ones that I love from then. But anything else, like I wasn't watching Stallone movies when I was, you know, 8 years old. So this run that we're talking about right here is when I was watching them either in the theaters or, you know, as soon as they came out on video and I could. And that's where Daylight, his next movie, comes in. Like, I rented this pretty early on. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I rented it pretty early on when I could. And I know it's not a good movie. And I actually recently, when I was looking at the cast list of Daylight, there was somebody in the movie that I didn't remember was in it. But it doesn't matter. But I remember it being a really bad movie, but I just kind of liked it because it was there. Have you seen Daylight?
I saw it in the theaters. I don't think I've watched it since then. I remember thinking it was okay. There was some stuff he does that doesn't make any sense as far as like plot, because of the speed of plot more so than anything else. But yeah, like I just remember it being kind of blah.
I definitely agree with that. His next movie in 97, I watched this one at Clearwater, and I really enjoyed it. It has a really amazing cast, and because I, like I said, had been watching a lot of his '90s movies, I kind of knew Stallone from his comedy that he was trying to do in the '90s. So you come to Copland, and it's a real serious drama cop movie, like, and I really kind of enjoyed. Like, it was for me at that point was something different that I hadn't seen Stallone do. Granted, it's not his best role by any means. I'm pretty sure he got a Razzie for this one also.
He
But
actually, I want to say he was nominated for an Academy Award for this.
oh well, that's good for him.
So,
but yeah, so I remember liking the movie. I don't think I've seen it since that day in '97, but yeah, I don't think I have. Have you ever watched Copland?
I have. I saw
Okay.
it at Clearwater
Nice.
when it came out. Directed by one of my favorite
Rennie
directors,
Harlan?
James Mangold.
Oh, James Mangold. Yeah. Oh, I think Rennie Harlan did Cliffhanger is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were right on that one.
Yeah, James Mangold.
One win, one Best Actor, Stockholm Film Festival. I thought he got nominated for something, but apparently he did not get nominated for this role. I think that was one of those years where everybody was like, how the hell did he not get nominated for this role? So,
well, in '97 would have been the LA Confidential year, so he would have been up against Titanic shit and LA Confidential and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's kind of interesting because I remember everybody loving Copland when it came out, but it's only got a 6.5 on the IMDb. So it kind of makes me wonder if somehow it's like the luster has kind of rubbed off on it.
Could be, and maybe I should go back and rewatch it. Maybe it doesn't hold up nowadays. As actually be like I said, I think it was just something different at that point, and I kind of liked a cop movie, seeing him like that. Then this is on here just because he does the voice role in Ants. Ants is whatever. It's the Kmart version of A Bug's Life, and it's whatever. 2000 did Get Carter, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, wasn't this Rachel Lee Cook and him or something like that?
Sounds right.
Yeah, I didn't.
Where he's trying to protect her. Well, and it was a remake of Michael Caine. Thank you. Yeah, it was a remake of that. I don't know. I haven't seen it since the one time I watched it in the theaters, but I thought I remembered liking it. I could be wrong. I know I did not like Driven. Driven was stupid. Him and Kip Pardue, I think was the kid's name.
I think you're right. Driven was something that I was excited to watch, but then I watched it in theaters and was like, "Oh, this is horrible,
terrible." So, they drive stop cars. What's that?
Directed by Rennie Harlan.
No, that makes sense. They drive race cars in the middle of the street and flip up a manhole cover or whatever.
Yeah, it was Formula One cars. So it's like Indy 500 cars. Yeah. And you're right. They go so fast past a manhole cover, it kind of jumps up and spins around. Yeah, a very bad movie.
It literally wanted to be like Days of Thunder on crack. And it did not do very well. He had a small little part, not small, but a smaller part in Spy Kids 3D. Vaguely remember him in that as the villain.
Didn't even see the movie, so
yeah, it's nothing amazing. I definitely lied on here because I have not seen Rocky Balboa.
Do you remember the premise of this movie though?
Not at all.
This is the one where he there's a up and coming fighter, and the guy all of a sudden it turns into the LeBron or Michael Jordan kind of thing, and so it's new upcoming fighter, and they're like, he's not better than Rocky Balboa ever. And so then they do a video game simulation.
I remember that from the trailer.
Rocky ends up winning it, and then it kind of sparks everybody's ideas and so they try to convince him, and he ends up doing an exhibition match against this guy.
Gotcha. Was it like that Logan Paul exhibition match? Or did they actually fight? Did they really fight?
They fight in the movie, and it's just don't want to give it away for the most part, but
sure,
it's okay.
It's okay. 2008 was Rambo, and I feel like I watched Rambo with you.
Rambo, I would have been out in Massachusetts at this time.
Okay.
This is the one where he's in South Korea or something like that, I think. Julie Benz is in this version.
Okay, I remember her.
Yeah, so
Where did I watch this at if I didn't watch it with you?
you might have watched it at your own work.
Yeah, I could have.
But yeah, so the whole thing directed by Stallone. It's in Thailand. Sorry, he joins a
Okay.
group of mercenaries to venture into a war-torn Burma and rescue a group of Christian aid workers who were kidnapped by a ruthless dictator. So
I remember it being just kind of blah.
it's very bloody, very gory. I mean,
Okay.
like to an extent that I'd never like. They show you what a 50 cal would actually do to people.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
yeah, I remember that
you're
scene.
watching chunks fly
Yeah,
off, and it was pretty. It was a little heavy. It's kind of
I do
like
remember
very
that.
Saw-esque. So, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Was if they ever remade First Blood and made it more gory and kind of crazy, then you probably get something that was along the lines of Rambo.
Wasn't
So
this 2008 Rambo movie the one where he set the record for like the most people killed on screen at a time or something like that?
something like that. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like he kills like 150 some people in like 10 seconds or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was until one of these sequels of the movies we're about to talk about, The Expendables, comes out in 2010, and it is so much ridiculous fun. Like this is like if they make 9 Expendable movies, they're going to be worse than the Fast franchise. Like they have already gone so ridiculous with what they've done in them, but it's fun because it's exactly what you want from these movies.
But all
First
these
one's my
people.
favorite out of the 3.
Yeah, same here. First
I
one.
feel like they get progressively worse.
Yeah.
I thought the second one was okay. I really didn't like the third one very much.
The third one, isn't that the one that they went PG-13 on too?
Oh, they might have. It's the one with like the kids. Like you've got some of the old guys still, but they have like the the,
That's the
the younger.
PG-13 one.
That's the
Yeah,
PG
the
13 one.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and isn't that the one where they finally got Harrison Ford to agree to be in it?
I
Isn't he in
think
the third one?
I think so.
Yeah, so like that was terrible. But like they've done an awesome job of getting like Jean-Claude Van Damme to play like a bad guy.
That was the second one.
Yep. Well, we'll get to that one. Who's the bad guy in the first one?
Oh, I don't remember. Oh wait, no, it's Eric Roberts.
There you go. Yeah. So Eric Roberts, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Harrison Ford, like
No, it's Eric Roberts, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and then Mel Gibson.
Oh, Mel Gibson. Yeah, Harrison Ford's on the good guys team. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so the first Expendables was such a blast. So it literally like came out of nowhere and was just bloody and gory and ridiculous. And all these old action movie dudes that we really liked. Jet Li is around in the first one. It's the second one that he's gone for most of the movie, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So we got
Terry
Jet
Crews
Li.
is in the Terry Crews is a part of this squad.
Mickey Rourke has a very small part in the first 2 of them, if I remember right.
Yeah, Jason Statham's the like sidekick to Stallone's character.
Yep. Lloyd Christmas or Terry something Christmas. Right? I think his last name is Christmas in the movie.
Yeah. Statham's?
Statham, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, because he's Barney Ross.
Yeah. It's not Lloyd Christmas. Lloyd Christmas is from Dumb and Dumber.
Lee Christmas.
Lee Christmas. There we go.
Jet Li's name is just Yin Yang.
Nice. I mean, if we can just
Dolph Lundgren.
tumble right in to talk about Expendables 1 and 2 at the same time, since they were released 2 years apart and they were his 2 credits back to back.
Dude, the second one, I mean, it's not as good as the first one, but it's fine. I enjoyed it. So, Jean-Claude Van Damme plays a good bad guy in it. Chuck Norris shows up in it. So,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I mean, you got a lot of people in this that are solid. So.
Well, and like Van Damme or is it either in the second or the third one? I thought it was Van Damme that did it. Like he kicks a knife into a dude's chest. Is that not ringing any bells? No, maybe I'm making that.
That's how they kill Van Damme in the second one.
Oh, is that how they kill him? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Then you have Wesley Snipes show up in the third one.
Yeah, I love Wesley, and it was a great Demolition Man, like getting them back together reunion. So have you ever seen Bullet to the Head?
I haven't. Oh. Which one did I see? Bullet to the head. Is that the
I
one?
don't think I've seen it.
Oh no! I did watch this. I thought you watched it with me.
Oh, maybe I did. What's
we were
the
at
plot?
Glendale when it came out because Momoa's in it. Jason Momoa's in it. Christian Slater, Sung Kang.
Oh, okay. Hot.
Yeah, I'm like it's a virtual who's who. This is a very bad movie though.
What's the plot of it? Like I'm literally not remembering it.
After watching their respective partners die, a New Orleans hitman and a Washington D.C. detective form an alliance in order to bring down their common enemy.
That plot sounds slightly familiar, but I never could have told you what the movie was or the cast.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't remember this movie at all. If I did watch it.
Jason Momoa is like the bad guy, hitman, mercenary guy.
And he teams up with Stallone.
No, he does not. They're fighting him.
Oh, okay. Who does Stallone team up with?
As far as I remember, I thought it was Sung
Kang. Okay.
Sung Kang. Yeah, it is. It's
okay. Kang. I need to watch this preview or something. Like it vaguely sounds familiar because Momoa would have been popular with Game of Thrones already. So
no, this was right before that.
Oh, is it right before it? Oh, okay. I might not. I don't know.
Actually, I might be wrong. It might be like during that because I remember one of our employees thinking he was super hot, and I didn't know who he was and what he was from.
And I'm trying to think of I vaguely do remember, yes, watching this movie with you, and I vaguely remember it being at the beginning of Jason Momoa's career, but I would have known him from something when I watched this. And I just don't remember what it would have been.
He was in Game of Thrones for 2011, 2012, so...
Okay, so yeah, he would have already been around for this. Okay.
Not only that, but he had also done Conan already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was a terrible movie.
Stargate Atlantis, he was on that.
I guess I knew that.
Yeah.
Have you seen Escape Plan? The movie where you finally get Schwarzenegger and Stallone, not in a let's get everybody together movie, but in an actual let's act and do a plot movie.
I enjoy this movie.
Agreed.
It, for being what it is and coming up with the silliness of it, of all that they had to for this movie. I thought it was a very entertaining. Lots of fun. Okay, plot twist at the end that I think we pretty much saw it coming, but like it was still pretty cool. Every now and then on iTunes, the 3-pack of them goes on sale for $10 because there's 2 sequels to this movie. Yeah.
Both of which the sequels were both direct to video. I want to say Bautista's in one, if not both of the sequels.
I want to say he's in the third one.
The third one? Yeah, okay. I knew he was in one, if not both of them. But like, I can't ever pull the trigger for that $10. Like, the first movie's not worth $10.
The third movie got a 4.4 on the IMDb.
Where's the second one sitting at?
Dave Bautista and 50 Cent are in that one.
Well, you've got me sold now. I didn't know 50 Cent was in it.
Yeah, 50 Cent's in all of them. That's his like right-hand man, dude. And Dave Bautista was in the second one, and that was a 3.9.
Oh, so the third one's better than the second one? That doesn't happen.
I thought it was on Amazon or something.
Oh, is it? I'll have to look into that then. I kind of want to see him just for the fact that I did really enjoy the first movie.
Yeah, it's on Prime.
It's on Prime? Cool. I may
have
to watch it there.
Second one, it says the second and third one are both on Prime.
Cool. I will watch them as soon as I can. I never saw Grudge Match.
I did not either.
All right. I know it's a boxing movie. I don't remember. Is it Ving Rhames, I think, is in it with him. I can't remember who he fights in the movie, though. It's
De Niro.
Thank you. Yeah. No interest in watching those guys.
Anthony Anderson, Kevin Hart. I'm looking at Alan Arkin's in it. Kim Basinger's in it.
Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
So we talked about Expendables 3 for the most part, unless there's anything else you want to add to Expendables talk. Yeah. Worst of the 3. They went downhill. Bringing in the young people was very dumb for this plot. They served no fucking purpose for the movie. In 2014, he also did a movie called Reach Me. Have you ever even heard of this?
I have not.
I have no idea what Reach Me is.
A self-help book changes the lives of different people in the LA area. Who is the reclusive writer? So it looks like it's a bunch of stories mixed together kind of thing.
Okay.
Dude, Kira Sedgwick's in it, Thomas Jane, Kevin Connolly, Tom Sizemore, Nellie, Kelsey Grammer, Terry Crews, Carrie Elways, Tom Berenger, Danny Aiello, Sylvester Stallone, Danny Trejo.
Was this movie actually released in theaters? Because I don't remember this movie.
I don't know if it was released in theaters or not. Let me look down here and see if it has any.
Because I with that cast, I don't understand how I haven't even at least heard of it.
$5 million budget.
Ooh.
It made $26,000 in worldwide gross.
Well, first of all, that explains why I've never heard of it. What's its star rating on IMDb?
Star rating is a 4.9.
Well, that's pretty bad. Dude, yeah,
21 on Metacritic. So
even worse. Like this had to be like it played in a couple of places in LA or something, or went to a festival or two and did no business.
Yep.
I totally lied on here. I have not seen 2015's Creed. I don't know why I haven't. I know you have told me numerous times that I need to watch it, and I haven't. Who directed it? It's the
guy who did
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Ryan Coogler. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, the honest truth is I'm not a big boxing person to begin with, and I think that's why I've never connected with any of the Rocky movies. I don't watch MMA. I don't watch any of that stuff. Like, it's just never been something that's interested in me. I watched the other Rocky movies, at a time when I was studying film and felt like I needed to watch, classics and things that everybody loved. But yeah, okay, you know what? And the only exception to this that I will say is the movie Real Steel. I very much love Real Steel.
It's a sci-fi boxing movie. It's not even
for sure. You put robots in it, I'm in. And Hugh Jackman, who I love, totally. Yeah, so I don't know why I put on here that I watched Creed. I've not seen it, but I know you really enjoy it.
Very much so. The second one I don't care for nearly as much. It's an okay plot. But that first one is a really solid movie beginning to end. So,
in 2017, he had a really small bit part, but it was a really cool character in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. One of the heads of the original Ravagers squad from the comic books. Yes. The Ravagers, right? Yeah, okay. For a second, I was questioning myself about them. But yeah, so something that, what was that, 4 years ago, we always thought that they might be setting up for eventually doing the original Ravagers crew in a movie, but obviously that hasn't even had rumors about it yet, so we may never see that. Escape Plan 2, we kind of breezed over. So you like the first Creed? How did Creed 2 go for you?
Like I said just a couple of moments ago, it's okay. I feel like the first one, I didn't really need a sequel to it. Not that you really needed a sequel to any Rocky movie.
Sure.
But I really like what they did with Rocky Balboa in the first Creed. In the second Creed, it's okay.
Let me add, does he train Apollo Creed's son in the first movie? Is he actually his trainer?
Yes.
Okay, does he stay his trainer for the second movie?
Some of it, yeah.
Some of it? Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So he still has, because I've heard that they're doing Creed 3 and that he is not going to be a part of it at all.
Correct. He's not planning on, from what I hear and what he has said on Instagram, he has no intentions of playing Rocky Balboa anymore.
Okay.
But
wasn't there one of the Rocky movies where he was training his son? Does he have a son in one of the Rocky movies that's a fighter?
Well, no.
No? Okay.
In Rocky Balboa,
yeah.
He is trying to repair his estranged him and his son's relationship.
Oh, okay. But his son isn't a boxer.
No, and it's Milo
Ventimiglia.
Yeah, the guy from Heroes and This Is Us.
This Is Us. Cool.
So yeah, it's he plays the son.
Got it.
And but yeah, he doesn't have a really good relationship with the son. He's trying to fix that in Rocky Balboa. And so his son becomes his corner man. So he's helping like
Gotcha.
train his pop. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
Rambo Last Blood, I have not seen, but I remember you saying there's some really wild shit in this movie.
There is it's crazy, especially like it's like survival stuff that happens in this movie.
From what I
So
remember reading
the
and
whole
seeing,
plot,
it's very similar to the actual very first movie, right? Like he's basically home aloneing his house or
he
his
kind of does,
land.
yeah. He ends up doing that because of the fact that he's got an adoptive. She calls him uncle, but kind of like an adopted daughter somewhat, and she ends up going missing and he goes to look for her. It's kind of like a Taken part
Okay.
Taken, part Rambo.
Yeah.
So he ends up going and trying to find her, and he ends up finding her. But then like the entire drug cartel in Mexico is pissed that he went and took her, so
I
they decide
see.
to go after him, and then they end up going to his house and his entire house. He's got this farm in the middle of nowhere in Texas, I think, or Oklahoma, and he ends up like you said, he does a Home Alone on his house, and to an extent that Kevin would never go. So yeah,
Yeah, I either saw a little bit or saw a scene or something from the trailer, but like I saw some pretty graphic home aloneing going on, like jars with nails in it, if I remember right.
all sorts of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a fun go if you're interested in that character at all. So
Um that's the last movie he did in 2019. He has 2 movies coming up this year. He's the voice of King Shark in Suicide Squad, which has a ridiculous cast to begin with and looks bizarre as fuck, but we'll see. I like James Gunn, so I have hope that it turns out.
I'm not excited for the movie, but I'll watch it. So
yeah, Again, the first one was so blah that like, But like I said, I'll watch it because it has an amazing cast, and I hope it's bloody and graphic and fun. Um, have you seen anything about this movie called The Samaritan?
I want to say that I've heard about it somewhat, but I'm not 100% sure if I have.
Yeah, I can't remember either. So I was going to ask you if you knew anything about it.
Real quick.
The Samaritan. A film by David Weaver. No, that is not The Samaritan. No. That was a 2012 film. This disambiguation does not help me at all. All right, I can't find it on Wikipedia, so I'm not sure. So anyway, that is mostly the career of Sylvester Stallone. Wait, are you finding it?
Stallone Samaritan. A young boy learns that a superhero who is thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may still be around. I did read about this.
Did you? Okay.
So
yeah, that doesn't sound familiar. Maybe I didn't.
It sounds kind of cool though. But yeah, apparently he plays like a Superman essentially who did some huge fight and then just disappeared off the face of the planet. So
any other big actors in it or anybody that matters?
No, not really. The guy who directed Overlord, which was that World War II zombie movie, he's the one who's directing this one.
Okay.
Julius Avery, and then I'm trying Martin Starr.
Oh, all right.
Is in the movie.
So there's obviously going to be a comedic element to this movie.
It says action, drama, fantasy, sci-fi.
Okay. Martin Starr is pretty much known for doing comedy, so I mean, not that he hasn't done drama, but most interesting.
Scanning through all the people that are in it, and
Gotcha.
I don't see anybody else that's like jumping out. But yeah, essentially it's like I said, a Superman who gets found by a little kid.
Interesting.
So
all right. So after talking about all of these movies, do you stand by your statement that Oscar is your favorite Sylvester Stallone movie?
yes,
And
it
it's
followed
because
very,
it's
very closely by Demolition Man.
okay. As long as Demolition Man's in your top 2, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, Demolition Man's super solid, and probably right after that is Tango and Cash for me. The Rocky series is fine, but I'm and it's kind of like all the other things, kind of like Citizen Kane and stuff. You can look at it and see why it was revolutionary for its time, but it doesn't have the same impact on me that it did other people. So
understandable.
But yeah, it would definitely go for me. It's Oscar, Demolition Man, then Tango and Cash.
Nice.
So.
I feel like that's a great list. Lots of fun movies. So we just wrapped up talking about Sylvester Stallone. Next week, we are going to talk about Jason Statham films, which I should have seen most of them, I would think. But I'm sure when I go through my research for this, I'm going to find out he did a bunch of British movies that I have not seen, or he's done a bunch of direct-to-video stuff that I did not know about. But overall, I've probably seen most of his film career. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to talk about because he's done some really ridiculous stuff in his career too. Like we're gonna talk about the Crank movies, we're gonna talk about the Transporter movies, and all of those went Fast and the Furious level ridiculous. So, I mean, Crank. I would put Crank and Crank 2 above Fast and the Furious for defying laws of physics.
Yeah, but at least it made I don't know.
Sure, no, you're right. It at least makes sense in the world. What's that?
It stays in its lane.
Yes.
Whereas like Fast and Furious is like, we're going to be a racing heist kind of thing. And now we're going to be an action spy series.
Yeah. Like you nailed it on the head. Like the first 3 movies are literally about it's not even the first 3 because the second movie, they're still going undercover to bust a drug dealer for the DEA or whatever.
There's still a ton of driving in
there. There is. I mean, there's still a ton of driving in Fast 9. It's just all stupid.
No.
Yes, there is.
Barely.
I mean, they took a car to space, bro.
Don't remind me.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening this week as we discussed Sylvester Stallone's career, what we liked and didn't like, and what we had seen and not seen. It's a pretty big career. A lot of stuff that I don't know if I'll ever watch from him.
Throw it in the comments and on Facebook if you have any opinions other than ours. Jaybird, you let your opinion be known last week with Risky Business.
Oh yeah.
Throw it at us again this week if you disagree with something.
Yeah, we love discussing and debating our thoughts and feelings on things. So I apologize to Jason Richardson that we didn't give Risky Business enough love last week. It is a good movie that I do really enjoy. But when I'm also told that our podcasts are too long, sometimes I try to breeze through stuff. And I just added an extra minute because of Jason Richardson. All right. So thank you guys for listening this week. Next week will be Jason Statham, and we will be back. Thank you guys.